Hi everyone, it's Diane. Are you tired of seeing all the smash books that I make? Well, in this video, I'm going to show a variety of things. I did make a couple of books. I'm still trying to use up some stash. So I do have a couple of books to show, but I also have some new ventures that I would like to show. I don't know if I'll get it all into one video, but I'll get it in eventually. Maybe in two parts. We'll see. First of all, I'll get these books done. I've mentioned in a previous video or two my friend who does a lot of crafts, and she does needle arts and fiber arts, and she did paper crafts for a while because she loved the bind it all, and I kind of got her into that. And then she decided she didn't have time for all of it, so she gave up the paper crafts and she gave her stuff to me. And that's part of the stash I'm trying to use up. Well, she gave me some paper from Paper Studio. I don't know what it's called. It's something Emporium, I think, and it had to do with needle arts. It had yarn and thimbles and quilting and things like that on the paper. So I thought I should make something for her to use this paper that she loved and that she can actually use. So I made this book, which is about 6.5 by 9.5 inches. And I also made one that's a little bit taller and narrower. And she chose to keep the narrower one because it was easier to carry around. So I'll just show you this one because the one she chose is very, very, very similar to this one. I cut this out with my Pretty Pennants cartridge, Cricut cartridge. This is an old book that I took apart, and this is bound with the bind it all. I had a sheet of the basic gray Lucille paper, which is all these cutouts for that have to do with sewing. So I cut those apart. I had two sheets actually, so I used one in the book that she took, and I used one in this book. And it has 5 divider cards in it, just made out of plain cardstock with tabs cut with the Stampin' Up punch. And here's a little piece from the Lucille paper that I cut out, things to do, and I just clipped it on with a coat hanger paper clip. And then I stamped the Paper Studio paper is white on the other side, so I used a lot of stamps. That says great idea, so she could put ideas for projects. And then this says, do what you love what you do. It's a good thing for a crafter to keep in mind. Here's a quilting sheet. My friend is a very good quilter. And she needs glasses to do, well, she needs glasses all the time, but to do her needlework especially, so I stamped those glasses on. And then with the scraps of paper, I just used different corner punches to make the scraps a little prettier, and then just put them in here, left them plain, put them in pockets throughout the book so they can be used. Here's a Stampin' Up stamp. It looks like pattern pieces. And there's another stamp, very, very old stamp, things to do. And then here's a section. She can label the sections whatever she likes because she has various crafts that she does. Besides quilting, she does sewing. She actually spins yarn and weaves it and makes things out of it. So any of those, and she knits too. So she can divide these, or write what she wants on each tab to divide up into sections. And there, you can't see it very well, but it's a green that matches this, and it's a Stampin' Up set of stamps of a dress form and sewing notions. This page I used a journaling stamp and stamped it I think 3 times on each page, and then used the K & Company Smash Book little tickets that say to buy and to make, and then just decorated them with dress form stamps and rulers. Here's another section. This one I just used a variety of journaling stamps that I have. Just stamped them all over the page, and then I stamped this one up here that says My Stash. So she could use these pages to write down stash that she has so she doesn't duplicate purchases. There's a sewing pattern stamp, journaling spot. So here's a pocket I made, stitched on, and a few more cards to put in there. I like this, may your bobbin always be full. And this is a tablet from a game called Loaded Question. I purchased the game for about $2 or $3 at Salvation Army. and I just use the sheets as journaling paper or ledger paper. And I stamped things to buy, odds and ends, and I love lists, and some sewing notions. Here's the last section. It's a sewing basket stamped here. This says, "The fabric of friendship is stitched with love." And then I made 2 pockets here with some stick-on trim from Michaels, some more tags in the pockets. And this, I had these little, this journaling stamp. It says buttons on it. It looks like a button card, but you can write in there. And then I have a variety of button stamps that I stamped on there. There's another dress form and journaling spot, and friendship is the thread that ties all hearts together. Then I used this pretty library pocket and put some more cards in it. This one is actually a library card that I backed with some leftover paper. And as I said, she chose the narrower book so she could carry it around with her, so I still have this one to maybe put in the little shop. And here's the other book that I made, and this is made with the National Geographic book, and it says Special Publications 25th Anniversary Edition. And I wanted to keep this part, but I didn't want the 25th anniversary part to show, so I covered that part up, kept the compass, and used this little, I think it's from Tattered Time, and it's a clock hand, and I cut it out and glued it to the middle of the compass, put a little button there, and then just used some scraps and made some fishtail banners and glued on some little journaling spots, so whoever gets this book could write a title here or dates or whatever they want to write on it. And since I didn't cover the cover with paper, the raw edges here where the book was taken apart were raw, and so I covered it with pretty duct tape. There's the back. And then I kept the end papers from the book, the National Geographic book. And then I just glued on some journaling spots throughout this book. Some are from various collections, and some are from the internet, things I downloaded and printed. This one is a shaped page, and I made a pocket on it and stamped on it. Same with that page. This is a snap page. It says all the good stuff. This is a stamp that I have, a journaling stamp. It has an arrow on it. So I just stamped it on yellow paper and cut it out. This is decorated with washi tape. This had some glossy, it's a checkerboard design, and every other square was glossy. And since most people wouldn't have the proper adhesive to glue things down that would stick, I used my adhesive and glued down these pages out of a little book. It says books to read and favorite books and passages, and then some decorations. And these flowers are covering the backs of brads that I used here. I stitched this down as a pocket and put a couple of brads here to divide it up into 3 pockets. And then I will stamp on these tags and put seam binding or something in them. I just haven't done that yet. This is a little pocket or a little envelope that I made with some leftover Tim Holtz bingo paper, and then these little tabbed cards I got from the internet, downloaded and printed them. They're perfect size for this little envelope. Here's another download from the internet, the story of today. It's another card I made with that stamp, journaling stamp. Here's another shaped page. And I just glued on scraps of paper and some journaling spots. And on this side I made a pocket, more scraps of paper, a journaling spot, and a card, journaling card. And this is just a big card from a numbers bingo game that I got at the Salvation Army. And I glued this on the back of it. It says today's about quality, not quantity. And then just, write about the day, hooray for quality. So I glued that on the back and decorated it with washi tape and clipped a journaling card here. And here's another page from the loaded questions sheet that was in the other book, and I decorated all around it with washi tape. And here's a craft envelope that I also decorated with washi tape and glued this little round playing card on it and put a lot of journaling cards and things that can be used throughout the book. And then in this little library pocket on the back, I actually put in some of the game cards from Loaded Question, so whoever gets this book could actually answer questions on this sheet if they wanted to. I thought that was fun. So, and then the back of the envelope has more playing cards on it. So that's this little book. And looks like I don't have a whole lot of time left, but real quickly, I've been trying to practice art journaling for some time, and I've gotten a little more into it now, so I'm doing it a little more frequently and getting the hang of it. I just was never sure of it. I've always been intrigued by it. So I'm just going to show you real quickly some of the pages that I've done. I look at YouTube videos for some things and just kind of get ideas on things to do and then do my own thing with them. This one has scraps of paper around the edges. I can't remember what the background was. Might have been watercolor crayons or something like that. And she's a cutout from a magazine. All of these things are cutouts from magazines. And I haven't done that yet. It's just a background. There's another background I'm playing around with. And then I started getting techniques from YouTube and then practicing the techniques by journaling about the Beatitudes. I'm teaching the Beatitudes in the ladies' Sunday school class or Bible study that I teach. So I started doing the Beatitudes as art journaling just to practice some of the techniques. So there's one of them, blessed are the poor in spirit. And then here's a 2-page, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. And then that's as far as I've gotten. This background is ready for the next Beatitude. So mostly I'm practicing backgrounds, and then I just put a Bible verse on that one. And this is one I copied from a YouTube video with this girl on it and put a Bible verse on it. This is one I actually did on when I had a bad day. This is one I did on my own about worry and using scripture and what worry does and what trusting God does. And then here's another one with a Bible verse on it. And this is just my book I bought on clearance somewhere. I don't even remember where. I think it might have been A.C. Moore. And this is kind of just like my practice book. I just practice different things. This was, I got some gelatos and I was playing around trying to see what they would do. I love that color. This is all gelato play. So, and then I journaled here about art journaling and whether I really wanted to invest the time and the money to buy supplies and whether it was worth it. So I journaled about that here. I decided it was worth it. So this is just basically a practice book. Then I got this watercolor book, Strathmore watercolor book on clearance for $10, which I thought was great at Michael's, I think. And either that or Hobby Lobby. I think it was Michael's. But anyway, this is what I consider my real art journal. Now that I've practiced, and all these loose pages I'm going to bind with my Bind It All once I get more pages done. But this is my art journal. I haven't done anything about a title yet, but this was about perfection. I put this magazine picture in there and just journaled about how people think that you have to be thin and beautiful to have any value. And I throw myself into that. I always feel like I need to be thin and beautiful, which I'm not. But, you know, I feel like I don't have as much value because I'm not. And I know that's not true, but that's what that page is about. And so then this kind of tagged along with that. Take control. If you don't like yourself or your life, change it. And I used some of my stamps of ladies and just, you know, was learning techniques here. This is one that I just did last week about love. and I journaled, seeing others struggle in their relationship, as we have struggled in ours at times, makes me appreciate the enduring love we share. So this is just about different aspects of love. And then watching Christy Tomlinson video, I did this one yesterday. And I used Tim Holt's little stickers. She lived a beautiful life. That's what I've done so far with art journaling. Running out of time, so I hope you tune in for part 2.